感谢 Ocean 和之前的节点的分享啊！我在引力区工作的时间，我经常会问我的领导，我说有人要找咱们合作，找咱们帮忙，但 Ocean 呢和李博士给我最多的回复是，大爱无疆，仁者无敌，这就是我们引力区的一个企业文化。这次大会也正正印证了我们健康、开放、合作的一个心态。下面呢，我们来邀请第二场英文的这个节点的讨论环节。其实很多观众应该知道，我不知道大家知不知道，可以给个回复啊。好像海外的节点对我们的中国节点的发展是比较恐惧的态度，因为觉得啊，你们中国这么多人，这么多社区，那么通过这次大会，今天这么多的狂热的粉丝，我觉得他们应该会更恐惧。OK。此处应该有笑声。OK， 这次节点的主要的目的呢，是让我们中国的粉丝和节点们了解我们海外的节点到底在做什么。现在呢，我会邀请各位嘉宾。AcroEOS 领导者 Damian， 请可以直接上台。EOSphere 创始人 Rose，EOSREAL 出席人、创始人毛毅峰 ，EOSYS 创始人 Chris，EOSAsia 创始人 Fanelli，EOSCanada 出席人 Marc，EOSeoul CEO Elliot，MEET.ONE CEO Dmitri。OK， 这些人呢，有的来自澳洲，有的来自欧洲，今天坐飞机坐了20多个小时。然后呢，他们有的嘉宾当时没有出席，我们工作人员都非常的担心。然后我们锦丽区的员工在开玩笑说，一定是被滴滴司机拐走了。之后呢，你知道被谁拐走了吗？被 EOSCanada 的胖哥拐走了，在吃自助餐。OK。So, welcome to Shanghai. Let's start with the question. So, everyone have few minutes to brief, introduce yourself. Okay? So you can let Chinese audience know what happening here. 然后我要再说一句，他们来自很远很远的地方。我们中国是一个大国，我们有一个求同存异的文化，我们可以用自己的掌声来表示对各位嘉宾的欢迎。
Hello, my name is Damian and I'm from AcroEOS and I'm a community director for the AcroEOS. Thank you.
Really short. Actually have 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
Rose.
你好。My name is Ross Dold. I'm co-founder of EOSphere, a block producing candidate based in Australia. Although we are in Australia, we aim to serve the entire EOSphere. And thank you very much to Gravity and Ocean in particular for his very inclusive attitude towards the block producers in the rest of the world. Otherwise we wouldn't be here at all. Other than the typical infrastructure, ensuring that we have adequate infrastructure, we also understand that governance is very, very important. One of our key strategies up front in order to ensure positive operation is to have a services management layer where we'll be able to effectively implement the governance requests that we need for the blockchain. But we also feel very strongly about reinvesting the rewards of our block producer rewards back into the community. We call that our positive feedback loop. Just recently of late we created a video with EOS Gravity and EOSAsia helping us translate into Mandarin. Hopefully you had a look at that. And it shows how obviously we have to pay for infrastructure, but anything else that we have available, we feel very strongly about investing that into EOS to grow the platform adoption and grow the awareness, get developers to write dApps, and get businesses to accept EOS as a blockchain that they'll be able to actually run their applications on, their dApps.
Okay. Wang 先生。
Hi everyone, I'm Marc from EOSREAL. We are Singapore, block producers. Myself is growing up in Shanghai. Our EOSREAL, the main target is trying to utilize the EOS I/O system to solve the real-world problem. One of the very, important part of such real-world problem is the voting system. Like what you just discussed a lot, but currently we don't even have a voting system. So what's the point to discuss the voting system without a voting system? So we currently are helping the community to write the constitution, write the voting process, write the arbitration process, which we think are crucial to the whole EOS community, as well as to the token values everyone here have. So on the other side, we are developing a lot of dApps. We are going to develop a lot of dApps focusing on the underprivileged population all over the world. Yeah, so that's basically our introduction. Our team is spread out. Half of them are in Shanghai, some of them in Melbourne, some of them in Pakistan. So we are going to build out an office in San Francisco. So yeah, we are very happy, to be invited here by Gravity to join you guys here in Shanghai. Thank you.
Joseph.
Hi, I'm Joseph. Many people already know me because I'm one of the first people who joined the EOS ecosystem with EOS Go. EOS Go is one of the biggest third-party communities organizer in EOS. Many people must know it already. Introducing EOSAsia, I would say that EOSAsia is one of the most international teams available between all BP candidates. So why do I say that? Because EOSAsia team comes from Europe, from US, from Korea, and from China. In China, there are 3 core members, me, Yifeng, and Zima. I believe many people already know them. Zima and Yifeng are really important and key opinion leader in China already. And what we focus on is incubating dApps. Why we believe we're the best at incubating dApps? Because we have experience and we're baked by Y Combinator. Y Combinator is one of the biggest and most important incubators in the USA. Besides this, I think we can relate to being really good at incubating dApps because we're already creating and incubating 2 dApps at the moment, and probably I will explain more about it later. And what else? Yeah, in China, in the last month, we already united a big community of 20,000 people in only 1 month. And I believe it's really incredible, and we want to thank every one of you for joining our community.
Marc.
Ni hao. I'm the president and CEO of EOSCanada. As some of you may know, Canada is one of the most stable countries in the world. And in that context, we'd like to thank Ocean and Gravity for inviting us to this conference. It's amazing that we create many connections with all the partners and block producers around the world, especially in China. And our mission is to be here and create those connections and hopefully form new friendships as the launch of EOS is historic, and we will all do this all together. So, EOSCanada has been launching testnets pretty much every day with other BPs recently, and we want to do that even more, even faster, so that we are ready for the launch day.
Okay, thank you. Elliot.
大家好，非常荣幸参加 Gravity ceremony. So actually, I'm the EOSeoul China CEO. So EOSeoul CEO is in front of me. We together. So let me briefly introduce our company. So we are based on internet-based company. We have around 20 years experience in internet area. So as you know, we were cooperating with Tencent with Crossfire, Chuanyan version. So it's famous game in China. Then another one is another company is called Neoply. It's a global incubator and accelerator. So every year we are investing into more than 20 different new companies. That's why we transferring to EOS ecosystem. So we want to contribute two sides. One is for the technology side. Based on our past 20 years experience in internet, we had many experience to deal with many multi-traffic and multi-users. That's why we believe that we can devote something for the technology stability. Another one is, as we mentioned, we are developing and we are investing into the different various debt company. So until now, we have already invested in 2 debt company. We will keep investing into this kind of various debt company. That's why in the business side, we want to devote something more. Very nice to meet you all. Thank you.
I will correct Myra. My name is Dmitri, actually. Dmitri, yes.
I have been practicing a long time, actually.
Actually, it's okay, no problem. Many Chinese people making mistakes about my name, so you can call me Dima. It's much easier for Chinese people, but it's okay. So I would like to introduce MEET.ONE. I'm representative of MEET.ONE. MEET.ONE is Singaporean block producer, and we have headquarters in Singapore and in Xiamen in China, so in 2 places. So from one side we stand in Kwon is on the mainland of China, another side in Singapore. What is our benefit? What we are doing right now? We have been from the March we start participating different test nets. We are right now participating Jungle testnet, which is the biggest right now, and it was another testnet before. We also built in some products for end users, kind of like application for WeChat, which you can use just right now, download it in right now. I'm gonna show you. It's like 1 second. Yeah, it looks like this and very useful is one thing. And another thing what we are doing, we built extension for Google Chrome. For people who use Google Chrome around the world, you can find any news, anything, sticker about EOS, everything which you contact with the EOS in that. Our plan is to build a platform which can connect user and bring into the EOS. We built in kind of interface for the EOS, which will be friendly and easy in use. This is our main point. We're also considering to bring more developers in our team. Right now our team about 8 developers, and we're gonna bring more. This is our plan. So we definitely want to be friendly with another teams, and actually we was in contact with Ross before, and just met Marc today from Canada, and we was in contact with the EOS Nation. We were negotiating with them, and Ukrainian team called Crypto Alliance. So we very tight with the teams, and for my point of view, your team can be very good, your BP can be great, but if you cannot find the way to cooperate with another BPs, then you cannot do this. So it's very important that you can do it together in a team. Because it's like, from my point, it's like a very long-term base jump in which all people synchronized and need to work as a team. It's like dancing in a team, if someone dancing that good, the whole team looks not nice, right? So I wish everyone good luck and good cooperation. Thank you.
现在在 Damian 还是比较高兴的啊，但是我们的问题非常的 tough，OK？、我们把这种关于技术，为了观众们的最佳体验，我们把 depose 呀这些问题都抛掉了，其实是问出了一些大家最想知道的问题。So I'm starting the question. Prepared, okay? So the first one, the question is that if you want to reply, it's okay. If you want pass, you can pass, okay? Recently, there is a conflict between the Western and Chinese EOS community on the topic of the dividends. What is the cause of the conflict? What are the options from the Western communities on this issue? It's about dividends. Telling your opinions.
For first, the AcroEOS has announced that we're not gonna give back the inflation dividends back to the token holders of the voters. We believe as a duty for the block producer, they need to work harder than rather just giving back to the community. We believe if there is something that the block producer can achieve something more than giving back to the people, but making the ecosystem greater, I think that's the first priority that block producer has to do. And if there is any other budget left beside using those things, maybe we could give back to the community. But I think giving back to the community at the first part, it seems just a little bit too easy to being a block producer.
Great.
So that's my opinion.
Rose.
Damian, I completely agree with you. But back to the beginning part of the question, I actually don't see conflict at all. I know when I first came out to Hong Kong and we met with each other, I think there was a lot of misinformation.
Sure.
A lot of misinformation about Chinese block producer candidate intentions. And it's nothing like it was originally painted for me. In fact, I've made great collaboration and friends with many BPs across China, where we actually work to assist each other, not competing for dividends or how much we can pay back to people that vote for us, but competing with how much value we can add to the actual platform itself, ultimately aiming to grow the adoption and strengthen the value of EOS itself.
Mao.
I think, first, there is no conflicts at all between East and West on this topic. Our view, it's very simple. So everyone knows, how many of you know to become a BP, how much we can make on a revenue side, per year? We did the rough calculation. It's done on 1%. It's no longer 5% inflation for block producer candidate for sure. I just confirmed with block 1 last week in Virginia. So it's 1% divided by 21 block producers. It's roughly at current price like $500,000. Right. So it's only like $500,000. You can actually make out of $500,000 from anything else you can do. So what's the point, to giving back this $500,000, reward, including, you still need to expand on the cost of the servers, on the staff, on the maintenance work. So there is no point for that. So more importantly, if talking about the conflicts between East and Western, we are on a stand of a global community. It's united. Everyone should work together. For the own interest of the US IO system. So we propose the voting process. We propose, or the voting article of the Constitution of EOS. We proposed is no manipulation of the votings. That's all. Very simple, neat. So there should not be vote buying, there should not be collusion, there should be not, anything that taking the reward or profit or the value out of the EOS system to the outside. So that's basically how we think.
OK， 这位嘉宾基本上是说 EOS 的这个其实最终的节点并没有很大的收益，所以说根本就没得分红。Joseph。
I think I have an advantage with this question because I'm in China from 6 years and I understand a little bit more than others the Chinese culture. I think I see it in 2 ways. So in China, there is a culture for which you have to give back to who gives you. So if someone provides you something, you would like to pay them back somehow, right? So if someone gives you something good or treat you good, you want to treat them good back. With this, the natural evolution of this is going to be that, like, without thinking too much, if they elect you as a BP, you would like to pay them back somehow, and that's going to be with dividends. But then actually, from the Western side, you will see a deeper thinking for which, if you pay back the dividends, with dividends directly, you're actually extracting value from EOS. So you're keeping EOS tokens, and you pay them back, and you don't do nothing, you just get elected so easily, right? And it's so easy that at the end, the value of EOS is going to decrease over time. Well, actually, the most important thing is going to be to find a way to increase the value. And that's what we are seeing recently with all the block producers competing with each other in order to make the system better, right? So instead of looking at a short term, we're looking at a longer term, right? And once there is communication, like Ross was saying, once people start to communicate and understand the meaning of this, I believe that there are not going to be conflicts or problems about dividends. I believe that people will understand that there is not a short-term, we shouldn't choose the short-term view if we really believe in EOS, but we should choose the longer term because we want EOS, like, value to grow. Value is price, value of dApps, value of everything, right? And I think I can see this because we are international and yeah, we communicate often with our team about any single thing, how to solve this kind of problems. And we want to try to find ways to explain this to every token holder, because at the end, it's the token holder who is going to vote for us. Yes, there are going to be big holders that already understand this, like I see before in the Chinese panel, there are already everyone understand this, but at the end, the little token holder need to understand this in order to make the right choice.
我总结一下，他大致意思说，非常尊重中国礼尚往来，比如说你投票给我，我们一定会回礼的这个文化传统，因为中国人非常的热情。但是呢，要尊重宪法的同时呢，他们觉得生态未来对成为节点之后对生态的贡献是更加大的。OK。
Just one more sentence. So, we are actually the block producer, actually a servant to the token holders. So why you ask a servant to give you money?
We're not asking money, we're asking votes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks to the contribution from EOS New York, who did a revenue model, the spend model, and Thomas Cox and EOSCanada, who built the first complete financial model, I think we helped the BPs and Block One think about the revenues for the block producers and increase the value of the first proposal they had done about 45 days ago. But to me, this is just one of the small problems that we will face as block producers. And to Ocean's point, I think we really need to increase the communication between block producers, because at the end of the day, we all need to come to consensus on what we're launching. And this is much more than just a revenue model. This is how do we honor the snapshot, the current token holders, and the unregistered addresses, and all of that. So, we've been working really hard to establish those bridges all together, but I think we still need to work really harder on how we will get to consensus to launch the mainnet.
Marc 非常赞同 Ocean 欧引力区这次的这个工作，让各位节点见面的这个活动。下一位 Elliot。
Basically, I want to skip this question, but just one thing. Back to our EOS philosophy, the dividend should be distributed according to their devotion, right? So we need to focus on how to calculate each part, including BP and coin shareholder. So we should calculate exactly that will be necessary. Thank you.
My opinion about this, there should be on each action, even small action, should be some kind of payment, and this should be planned and this should be done. But how it should be done? I agree with the Marc what he said. Is everything about communication? So it should be more stable communication between Asia and Western world. First, the problem is another problem, guys. Maybe no one can say that, but I will say is the shift time. They awake, we are sleeping here. So to communicate with them, we need to communicate in the nighttime, or they need to communicate in the nighttime. So we need to find the way. We need to standardize our communication system. For right now, as I see, everything is happening more in Telegram groups, or like communication can be delayed because of someone like didn't answer in right time, kind of this. So it should be improved the communicative system first, and then if people communicate faster, they will be more effective. They can create the better strategy, and they create the better kind of platform and background for this. So I think this is more important question right now to communicate, and there is no conflict. It's just misunderstanding about about dividend system. This is my point. Thank you.
OK， 各位节点们都讲出了自己对合作的这个公开的态度啊，所以说他们 EOS 不仅仅是中国的，也是世界的，因为这些来自不同背景的人，来自欧洲，来自意大利，来自于澳洲，最终呢摒弃了文化差异，跟咱们一起坐在这里，所以说他们讲述了自己开放的态度，所以在会后，各位观众朋友们也可以随时去问、去交流，然后去成为朋友，然后一起达成共建这个共识，好不好？我们继续下一轮的问题。We have the second question. We have 20 minutes left, so I will directly go to hit the point. Okay. So, what make you into an attractive VP? What advantages and the disadvantages of your BP? How are you going to improve yourself to become more competitive? So there are like advantages and disadvantages. 让他们说一说自己节点可以的缺点。Okay.
Sorry, I didn't understand. Actually, from my point, I think we shouldn't be competitive. We should be like collaborative more.
No, and the question is, what is your disadvantages? Like, if you think your community need to be bigger, or you need to be more good at the app, it's like there's some space you can improve. What is this?
All right, I got your point.
Okay.
So maybe I will answer, okay?
Sure.
From my side, I think first, what I said before, we need to have more communication with all BPs. This is definitely this thing. Another thing, many BPs need to standardize their inside system, how they working, what is their benefit. Because some BPs is good in community building, another is good in technological part. So if we will separate these roles between the different BPs, we can be much more efficient and we can grow the ecosystem of EOS much better. This is my point. And I think this is a good thing. From MEET.ONE, we have very decent CTO and our technological part. We are growing our community right now very big. I don't want to do any advertisement right now. And I want to say first, because if I say last, it sounds like everyone applauds for me. So I want someone be last, okay guys? Yeah, this is funny thing. So in such case, I think, yeah, we need to separate some roles. Someone good is in building communities. For example, Western part, American or Canadians, they are native speakers. They are good in creating content and teaching other people about things. If you are from Asia, it's pretty hard for some people, if they are not native speakers, to build kind of this video or kind of this content. But they can be very good in technology things. So I think it's important to separate roles in future. Thank you.
Good.
Okay. So similar opinion. This EOS ecosystem is kind of a new one. After we launched the mainnet, there will be possibly many problems or conflicting things short-termly or long-termly. Maybe we can harmoniously cooperate together. For some people or some players are strong in technology. Some are good at community building. So all are necessary. So we should respect each other. And from EOSREAL side, we want to contribute ourselves at the technology side. That's why we are testing, for example, BPS recently, and then we share the result. And then after communicating with the Block One, we realized what was the problem, and we are just fitting our protology. So this kind of process is necessary between the BP also. So every effort should be harmoniously, and that's why we can do very organic development together. Yeah, that's our belief.
Okay, Marc.
So my team is comprised of several serial entrepreneurs that have built multiple businesses, sold many of them to international corporations. And I think one of our advantages is our capacity to bring products to market and onboard users. So I built a product that attracted 1 million users in a month, and I want to do that again on EOS. I want EOS to be massive. In terms of other advantages, I think that our team is very, very strong in technology, operations, and security. We're trying to create a lot of content to educate everyone on the good practices we believe should be set forth. In terms of sorry, I'm speaking really fast because we don't have a lot of time.
It's okay.
In terms of disadvantages, I think we haven't focused on bridging the gaps enough. We haven't, we've started translating our content to Chinese and Korean and French to try to onboard as many communities as possible, but I think we should do more of that. And to solve part of the problem of the communications between the block producers, because we're feeling it a lot, we've actually created a smart contract on EOS that allows every block producer to cast their information to launch the network. And we believe this is the best decentralized database, so we should be using it.
Joseph.
I want to keep it back from Dmitri. He said that everyone should be different, and I agree with that. Everyone should be different, but then again, everyone still has advantages, consider themselves to have disadvantages or things to improve, right? So I think EOSAsia is a really international team, and we all have really different backgrounds and ideas. We like to combine our ideas in order to create something unique. EOSAsia is a really technical team, actually, but we like to be a technical team because supporting EOS, to support EOS, the first thing you need is technicality. So EOS, you don't have to be good at community or good at building dApps or anything else. The first thing is good at supporting the network, right? That's, if we only have one job, it's going to be to support EOS, to support the network. So we like to consider ourselves as a really technical team. And yeah, we can say that, but we also have something to back us, which is going to be our team previously worked on building infrastructure for tens of millions of users. One of the biggest applications we worked on is Strikingly, created by my co-founder, which is sitting over there, Yifeng. And the Chinese name is Shanxianla. Probably I didn't say it so good.
Shanxianla.
Beside the technical aspects, we want to focus on incubation. we think that we're really good at choosing the best steps that can bring EOS to mainstream. Why? Because we are previously been baked by Y Combinator, and Y Combinator is one of the biggest and most important incubators in the USA, located in Silicon Valley. And one of the few projects that they worked on is Reddit, Airbnb, Dropbox, and in the blockchain area they worked on incubating Coinbase, which is one of the biggest exchange for cryptocurrency in the USA, and IPFS. So, besides this, we like to consider ourselves as a good incubator because we already start to work on two dApps at the moment. One is EOS Gems, which is a collectible game platform, and the second one is TXT, Traffic Exchange Token. This platform aims to solve the problem of the advertising industry thanks to EOS high transaction speed. And we started to work on these steps before we even become BP. So we want to show with this that no matter what happens, we are going to keep focusing on what we're good at and bringing to people the best apps available, again, to bring EOS mainstream. And every one of you are going to receive airdrops from these apps.
Thank you, Joseph. Mr. Mao.
As our name, EOSREAL, we are dealing with real-world problem mostly. We are not only the communicator between East and West, but also the fighter to fight for each token holders, block producers, other members on the EOS system by addressing the most pressing issues. Currently, I think the most pressing issue is the voting system. Without voting system, we don't get paid. So we are focusing a lot on the governance, on the voting system, on the arbitration process, because, for example, on the arbitration process, it goes wrong, it will break the blockchain. So we are working a lot, if not only by ourselves, but among the very few block producer candidates, especially in this region, to fight for every token holder's interest. And by meaning that interest, it's a fair interest. We are trying to, propose a fairly good constitution for everyone on the EOS. So our advantage for doing that is the team. We got Ambrine Gillani, who has been working for United Nations, World Bank, to solve the underprivileged, disadvantages around the world for the last 15 years. I myself and another partner, Stanley, have been working in the financial industry for the past 20 years. So we got the knowledge, we got experience to dealing with complex real-world problems, no matter whether it's, on-chain or off-chain. Give you an example. For the arbitration process, Stanley talked to a very, very senior arbitrator in Australia. And the answer is, those old dinosaurs, old guys, don't want even to understand what smart contract is. So we come out, for a process, for an idea how we can train those educated people to be an arbitrator, fairly, not influenced by, countries or the bar associations around the globe. So that's our, most advantage. Our disadvantage, per se, is we are in short of the talents who can deal with such real-world problem, including the EOS, constitute the governance, voting process, arbitration process. We are very lack of such talents, especially in this region. So you know, as a team, you know, we cannot grow into hundreds of people, you know, without the help or support of your community. So if any of you sitting here, you know, like or would like to discuss the topic about governance, about voting process, please find us. You know, we can speak fluent Chinese here. Thank you.
Ross.
Right, thanks. So, advantages. The team itself, myself, my co-founder, and our technical architect, we've been in integration industry for about 20 years, working in data centers, networking and security for large banks, governments, and large organizations. So as far as technically competent goes, as far as running a block producer on the infrastructure layer, which is obviously the base, you know, we have that covered. The real value that we think that we bring to people that would presumably vote for us, looking for some kind of positive angle, and that would be specifically around about the community initiatives that we're involved with. We sponsor the hackathons, we're sponsoring the union match, we are supporters of the Chuntai token leasing platform. And more recently, and on your topic of governance, we've actually committed to reinvest block producer awards for the RMIT Blockchain Innovation Hub, which is a university. And we actually brought as a guest with us, as we came out to China, Alistair Berg. He's a research assistant, otherwise known as the headmaster. Where are you, Alistair? At the back there somewhere. There he is. So Alistair is a representative, and you know, if you get a moment, catch up with him after this meetup to understand exactly what we're doing that side. But we've actually sponsoring a research foundation specifically into governance and modern day economics, right? So this will mean that academics and students, and just so you know, the RMIT University is 85,000 students. I think 85,000? Okay. I'm waiting for you to say yes. The academics and students can collaborate and discuss and challenge each other, and perhaps out of there we'll create some research papers that we will share with the community, and maybe that'll help us better understand how to run and operate effective governance.
Thank you. Damian.
You don't want any disadvantages because there aren't any.
First of all, thank you, Dmitri, for giving me an honor to get the applause after answering this question. And what AcroEOS is trying to achieve, what AcroEOS is primarily trying to do is the secure network. That's the first thing. And second thing is we want to give a real-world payment and remittance solutions using EOS. And our parental company has all the license that is needed in Korea, but we want to make this happen all over the world. So we need more partnerships and people who can help and collaborate with us. So I would say our advantage is our experience in financial technology, but our disadvantage is that we have to communicate more to these companies and people who are out there. Thank you.
So 除了毛先生以外，所有的节点都成功的避开了缺点。缺点就是我们要合作，优点说了。Okay, we have no time, so there are only last questions. You can say yes, you can reply, you can explain. 你们问题是问他们，你觉得你有能力或有信心成功成为超级节点吗 ？Do you have the confidence to become the top 21 BPs? You can refuse.
Yes.
That's, okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Do I need to
Yeah.
explain?
If you want.
So First of all, I think that competition is really important, and all the people over here are really competitive. It's important because you are saying we shouldn't compete, but I think we should compete, because competition brings the best out of each other, right? With competition...
I mean, we shouldn't compete in a team when we are in 21 BPs. We should collaborate. But to beat one of 21st is a hard competition. More than 100 BPs registered already, you saw that, right?
To compete comes from the Latin competere, which means running together. So I think this is exactly what we're doing, running together for a bigger goal and sharing our expertise and experiences all together. So I believe everyone has a chance to be, part of that large network, and hopefully, the token holders and the participants will recognize the contribution of each and every one.
Okay. This is what we want to say. We want to debate, compete, fight with each other.
No, we won't fight here. I already fought yesterday on my training and got here a bit red.
I'm trying to jump into the fight.
Jump.
Yeah, so why you guys, like to become a, block producer, if the reward is so small? I don't really care,
Why do you want?
Yeah, the only thing we are looking at these is the block producer candidates. Nowadays, wear different hats. We are not only the block producer at this moment, but also like dApp developer, the governance, advocator. That's the part we are jumping here. Because there is no working proposal system yet. The only way we can work, together on the EOS, as we believe it's most, interesting or promising, blockchains on this planet so far. So that's why we are here. Frankly speaking, I don't really care about, to become a servant to.
So I think we're more than servant. I think we are custodians of the network, and in that role, I think we are very excited to look at this opportunity and see where it brings us. It's a very dynamic world. We look forward to that, but I think it is an amazing responsibility to block producers to hold that network together, given the different challenges that we will see in the next weeks.
Yeah, right. Servant is
I think the thing is like this. Yes, there is no working thing right now, but as we will be together, we will build it. We have hands, we have hat. We can do that together. This is the point. It was created like this with the Dan Larimer and his idea. He will not work by himself on it. He will find the people who can build it and spread it around and work as a team in future. And this is really something extraordinary for us, and we are really excited. No one knows where the road will end in this room, and no one knows later.
Question is,
And
do you have
Actually,
confidence?
it's so simple, so we can answer yes or no.
Ah,
I can just
beautiful.
explain the reason, okay? So everybody, personally, 1 or 2 minutes will be okay. That's my suggestion.
Okay.
Can you accept it?
Yes. Why? Should I say it?
Yes.
Okay. We do think that we're doing a great job even before we get into block producers. And there is the chance, of course, that we don't become block producers like any one of you. But we believe that even if we don't become block producers, we will keep working on what we're good at. I always show that because we already started with our dApps that are going to come out this year. And even if we don't become block producer in 2 weeks, we know that we are going to become block producers in the long run, sooner or later.
I think we see this as a very long time, long run. So how things were involved is the more time and effort, or the cost, simply the cost, we put into the system, the more we, have vast interest in it. So we have to be very sure about how stable, how nice the system is going to run. So for the very long time, maybe a year from now, maybe 2, 3 from now, as long as our vested interest in the system grows, we have to become one of the block producers to supervise or cooperate, to work with others to make sure, everything is fine, because we put so much, effort and work into that. that's how we think, in the long run, it's nothing to do about how we are, doing at the very beginning. It's the servant work, it's the currently the block producer, on day one, could be very simple, very easy, but getting to that, into the long run, it's only the vested interest that drives you into, you have to become a block producer if you got so much vested interest in the system.
Do you feel confident?
Sure, that's why we're here.
Bruce, do you confident? Damian, do you confident? Elliot, do you confident?
We've got the token holders, the enterprise businesses, the DApp developers' interests at heart, truly at heart. So I'll say yes.
I say yes, but the question is, when will we become a block producer? Yes.
I didn't answer, so for the question, EOSoul can say no. Because that's why please vote for EOSoul. so that
他说他没有信心，
we
希望大家投票。
And the reason is why we can contribute two sides. One side, based on our 20 years experience in the internet area, we can support technology security and stable technology structure. The other side, we will keep going on the investment into that company with our fund and third-party fund together. Yeah, please vote for us. Thank you.
No advertisement. We told it before. 说好不能打广告的。OK.
So I didn't answer the question as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said. I heard you said yes. Yeah, we won. Like
Yeah,
yes.
but I didn't say why.
Uh-huh.
Can I?
Sure.
All right, thank you. So the point is why we can do that, and is first of all we get a decent team of developers who doing the project, and they already prove that they can do things by extension what we build right now, and by another product which is coming out later. It will be a real application on which you can do voting. You can have your own wallet on EOS, and you can get information about all news, and it can be separated application on iOS, Android, PC, or Mac. So anyhow you can get it, and it will be very useful to be in the EOS and to know everything about EOS with this app. So the thing is, when you choose in the BP, you need to look at the background people, what they doing, what they did before, and what kind of people that. In such case, you will not make mistake. No, yeah, you can make, there is a chance, but the chance is much smaller. You need to see how BP participating with another teams, how they cooperating together. This is also very important thing. Because only, as I said before, be as a one team together in 21 blocks, producers, it can be great system. So for now, it's very early stage to say how it will be in future. And from MEET.ONE, I would like to say that our team was cooperating in big businesses before. Our CEO is one of the co-founder of another BP, is called EOSCanada. The guys are here, EOSCanada, hello. And we have very huge community in China, more than 100,000 people, and more than 100 group chats. And we're spreading right now and growing Telegram groups in the Western world, and making more English content right now. Okay, I'll finish it, right? And I think we're doing good, we're doing great, and I wish our all colleagues to be in one team together, and I wish everyone good luck. Thank you.
这就是这一场的圆桌啊。I hope all of you can go to give your passion to the fans, right? Show your passion, teach to them, talk to them, be friends, so you can have your votes, right?
I have some, sorry, I will interrupt you. I have some small gifts which I would like to spread around, and if someone wants it, I will give it. It's just a small pin you can put on your shirt. It's not from MEET.ONE, it's from EOS.
OK， 好。这一场的圆桌分享非常精彩，之后大家各位观众们都可以跟海外的节点相互学习交流，他们都承诺了会发礼物啊，大家去疯狂的索取。OK。
Myra, can we organize a group photo with one participant of every blood producer in the room? Like one picture, every blood producer. That would be amazing.
Wow.
Maybe a bit later.
A bit later. Let's finish the photo after, okay? Okay, thank you. 给大家给到一条掌声吧。
Thank you, Myra. Thank you, Gravity.